Hey, John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So in this video, I'm going to get on your case, okay? And I'm going to give you some hard truth, but it's going to be helpful to you if you're willing to apply this to your life and really believe what I'm telling you here, because this is something that people have really a hard time believing. But once you grasp onto this concept and you truly believe it, you're going to find yourself a lot more empowered in your life. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm suggesting that you do when things go wrong. Because things are going to go wrong, right? Bad things happen in our lives. Things happen that we do not desire, that we do not want to happen. And when that happens, most of us, like our first impulse is to justify ourselves, to say, that it's not my fault because blah, 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 and to blame someone else. Now, this is the opposite of what we should actually do in this situation. In fact, what you may have gathered already from this video is that I'm going to tell you that you should blame yourself first. Always, as much as you can, blame yourself first. Take responsibility. Because here's the thing, right? Fortune, circumstances are going to happen outside of our control. We can't control those things, right? But where we accept the responsibility, where we say that the responsibility for those things lies, is going to determine our power to change those things. So, someone could cut us off in traffic and we could say, oh, they're such a jerk. Oh, whatever, they caused me to be late for work or whatever it is, and we can blame them for that thing. But that doesn't really benefit us. What happens is when we blame someone else, actually we get angry, which never helps you. You never can deal with a situation when you're angry. It makes it more difficult. You're not thinking properly. And second of all, it gives you an excuse. So you don't think about the things that you could do, right? You say you can't change someone else, right? So you can't change someone else's behavior. So just because if something bad happens and you give the fault to some other person, then all you can do is bug them and say, well, I wish you didn't do this, or this person shouldn't do this. And it's just a whine, right? It doesn't have any effect. But on the other hand, if you take responsibility and you say, well, they did this thing that was undesirable, but it was my fault because X, because I acted in such a way, I didn't explain such a thing to them, they misunderstood me, I should have explained myself better, whatever it is, right? If you accept the responsibility and the blame for it, now you have power. Now you can control things, now you can change things. Now there are going to be circumstances that are outside of your control, but if you're willing to even take blame for those things as the default behavior, right? That doesn't mean that you can blame yourself when an earthquake occurs. But at the same time, if you're willing to make your default be to blame yourself, to figure that you have the power to control the thing, that you're in some way responsible, then you do have the power. Then you can change things. Then you can make an impact. And you won't be as negative either, right? If you're going around blaming everyone else for or circumstances for things that happen to you, you feel empowered, right? You have no power. You're at the whim of fortune, right? And you basically are disgruntled about that. You're going to be upset and angry, and you're just going to have a negative attitude about things because all of this crap is happening to you, right? So change it around. Instead of all this stuff happening to you, think about you as being the cause of it, or you as being the person who is responsible or in control. You're responsible for your own life, and you have to make that choice. But this is a hard thing to do. Like I said, our default is to blame other people. And when we do that, as soon as you blame someone else, as soon as you blame circumstance, you lose all power to affect the situation. So, I'm a realist. I realize that everything is not your fault. Everything is not my fault, right? But it's the right mindset to have this mindset of it is your fault. Start there. Start by blaming yourself. Start by coming to terms with the possibility that it may be your fault or you may be responsible for a situation, and suddenly you'll have the power to change that situation. And it doesn't feel comfortable. It's hard to do. But when you get into the habit of doing this, all of a sudden, what other people do, what other people say, doesn't matter so much because you're going to focus on you. What can you do? The only person that you can change, the only hand that you can move is your own. So that's the key here, is really to focus on what you can change. It's all about empowerment. It's not really about blame, right? It's about making changes, changing your perspective, focusing on the things that you have power over, which is really just yourself. Well, hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you think this would be helpful to someone else, and you can send it to them in a way that isn't blaming them for their problems, please share it, and please subscribe to this channel. Thanks, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.